I let my niece move in after she was kicked out for bad behavior. I gave her a room, enrolled her in school, and got her a part-time job. One night, I came home to find my jewelry box empty, my credit cards missing, and a note on the fridge, "You shouldn't have trusted me." My sister called the next day and screamed at me for not giving her structure. When I asked her to pay me back, she said, "That's what family is for, helping each other without expecting anything." I'm Daniel. I'm 47. I live just outside Knoxville, Tennessee. Blue-collar guy. Been working in warehouse logistics for 25 years. Own a 3-bedroom house I paid off a few years ago. Never had kids. My ex-wife and I split over that. She wanted kids bad, and I wasn't ready. That's a story for another day. I live alone now, and that's always been fine by me. Until last September, when my sister Brenda called me. We're not close. Never have been. Brenda's the kind of person who always has chaos around her. Wrong men. Bad jobs. Money problems. Screaming at the waiter kind of woman. I always kept my distance. But this time she sounded scared. Said her daughter Ashley was out of control. She's 17 and acting like she's 25, she said. I can't do this anymore, Danny. She doesn't listen to me. She skips school. She's hanging with trash. I told her to leave. She's been staying with some sketchy people. I'm afraid she's gonna end up on the street. I didn't know Ashley that well. I saw her maybe twice a year at holidays. She was quiet. Didn't say much. Looked angry half the time. But I figured maybe she just needed stability. A calm place. A break from all the screaming. I thought, why not? I've got space. She's family. I said, let her come stay with me. Just for a while. Brenda jumped on it fast. Didn't even ask questions. Just dropped her off 2 days later with a trash bag full of clothes and a cheap phone charger. No hug. No, thank you. Just, take care of her. She needs structure. So I gave her structure. I cleaned up my spare room. Got her a Real bed, not some blow-up thing, but a proper mattress and frame. Bought her sheets and towels. Took 2 days off work to get her enrolled at the local high school. I even talked to a buddy who owns a diner, got her a job bussing tables after school. I laid out rules. Nothing harsh. Just basic stuff, no drugs, no drinking, home by 10 on school nights, chores on weekends, keep your grades up. I even added, if you need anything, you come to me. No shame. She looked me in the eye and said, thanks, Uncle Danny. I'll do better this time. I believed her. The first 2 weeks were fine. Quiet. She came home on time, did her homework. We didn't talk much, but I wasn't expecting some Hallmark moment. I thought maybe this could work. But it didn't last. She started staying out late. Sometimes not coming home at all. Always glued to her phone. I'd knock on her door, and she'd shout, "What?" Like I was bothering her. I caught her sneaking out once at 2 a.m., said she was just going for a walk. At 2 a.m. Then she quit the job. Said the manager, looked at her funny. I asked what happened. She said, I don't need to be disrespected. I told her part of life was learning to deal with people. She rolled her eyes and said, okay, boomer. Her grades dropped. I got a call from her school counselor. Said she'd missed 3 straight days. I confronted her. She said, it's just school. Who cares? I was getting close to giving up. Then one Friday night in January, I came home from a double shift. The house was cold. The back door was open just a crack. My stomach dropped. I stepped inside and knew right away something was wrong. No TV on. No noise. The kind of quiet that feels heavy. I walked to my bedroom and opened the top drawer of my dresser. Empty. My jewelry box was gone. I kept a few things in there, nothing flashy, but valuable to me. My father's silver cufflinks. A gold ring my ex-wife's parents gave me before the wedding. An Omega watch I bought myself after I paid off the house. All gone. I opened the kitchen drawer where I kept 2 emergency credit cards. Gone. I walked back to the fridge to see if maybe, God knows why, she left me a note. Something stupid. And there it was. A scrap of paper stuck under a magnet shaped like a cow. You shouldn't have trusted me. That was it. No goodbye. No apology. Just that. I sat down in the chair at the kitchen table. My hands were shaking. I didn't even know if it was rage or heartbreak. I called her. Straight to voicemail. I called Brenda. She picked up on the second ring, like she was expecting it. She's back with me, she said flatly. And frankly, I don't appreciate how you handled her. What the hell are you talking about? I asked. You didn't give her the right support. You work too much. You're not emotionally available. She needs guidance, not punishment. She robbed me, Brenda. You don't know that, she stole my jewelry, my credit cards, and she left me a note saying I shouldn't have trusted her. Brenda went quiet for a second. Then she blew up. She's a child, Danny. You don't get to treat her like some criminal. She was hurting. What did you expect? You think giving her chores and a curfew fixes years of trauma? She robbed me, and now you're defending her. Then she said the line that still echoes in my head. That's what family is for, helping each other without expecting anything back. I laughed. Not because it was funny. Because I couldn't believe what I was hearing. You mean I'm supposed to let her rob me blind because we're related? She didn't mean it. She needs time. She's not getting time. She's getting consequences. That was the end of that call. And that night, sitting in that kitchen with an empty wallet, an empty drawer, and that note stuck to the fridge, I decided I wasn't going to let this slide. Brenda and Ashley thought they could take what they wanted and walk away. They had no idea who they were dealing with. I didn't sleep that night. My mind kept spinning, running through every memory of Ashley in my house. I started seeing signs I hadn't noticed before. The missing beers from the fridge. The small amounts of cash gone from the kitchen drawer. I had chalked it up to forgetfulness or assumed I'd spent more than I thought. No. She'd been picking me clean from the start. And Brenda, she was in on it, whether she wanted to admit it or not. I filed a police report the next morning. Gave them Ashley's full name, birth date, told them what she stole. The officer at the desk gave me that look, the kind people give you when they think you're wasting their time. Your niece, right? He said. That's family business. You sure you want to go this route? She stole thousands of dollars worth of items and credit cards, I said. You damn right I do. He filed it, but I could tell he didn't think it'd go anywhere. Maybe he was right. Minors rarely get prosecuted for this kind of thing, especially not if the parent won't cooperate. But I wasn't going to wait for the system to fix this. I had other ideas. First, I froze my credit cards. Checked my account. She had already used one of them, 3 Uber rides, 2 charges at a gas station, and a $300 shopping spree at some mall in Murfreesboro. That last one hurt. That watch she stole. Worth more than her car. I started making calls. My buddy at the diner hadn't heard from her since she quit. My other friend, Donnie, used to do some PI work and still had access to a few tools. She's back at her mom's place, he said after a couple of days. Still using the same phone. I tracked the last ping to an address in Cleveland, Tennessee. That's when I started planning. I didn't want revenge just for the sake of it. I wanted them to feel what I felt, betrayed, powerless, and exposed. So I dug into Brenda's world. She'd been bragging on Facebook for years about her side hustle. Claimed she was selling essential oils and running some kind of life coaching scam online. I knew she wasn't paying taxes. She always took cash, always didn't believe in government interference. I started collecting screenshots. Every ad, every post, every payment request she made publicly. Then I got lucky. One of her old boyfriends reached out to me, Mike, a tow truck driver who dated her last year. He saw one of my vague posts about betrayal and messaged me. Brenda still owe me $1,800, he said. Told me she was investing in some online seminar. Never saw the money again. I asked him to tell me everything. Turns out Brenda was taking people's money under the table, promising coaching and natural healing products, then ghosting them. I took every screenshot he gave me and forwarded it to the IRS fraud tip line. I also reported her for running an unlicensed business in Tennessee. But that wasn't enough. I wanted Ashley to feel it too. I knew from Donnie she was still using my stolen credit card for Uber and DoorDash. So I set a trap. I didn't cancel one of the cards. I let it run. I waited until I saw a $72 charge from DoorDash to an address in Cleveland. Then I drove there. I parked down the block and waited. It was a rundown duplex. Peeling paint. Rusted mailbox. I waited in the cold for nearly 3 hours until I saw her come out to get the food. She looked exactly the same, like nothing had happened. No guilt. No shame. I snapped a photo of her holding the food bag. Time-stamped. I sent it to the detective who filed my report. He called me the next day. "Well, this changes things," he said. "That card was reported stolen. She used it just yesterday. We'll bring it to the DA." Things started moving after that. But I still wasn't done. 2 weeks later, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. "This Daniel?" a man asked. "Yeah. This is Officer Templeton, Cleveland PD. We picked up your niece last night. Found her with some of the items you reported stolen, bracelets, a gold ring, and a prepaid Visa card tied to one of your accounts." I sat down. My heart was pounding. What happens now? She's a minor, so she's being processed through juvenile court. Her mother showed up. Raising hell. Threatening to sue the department. "Of course she did," I muttered. "You might be asked to testify if this moves forward. Just a heads up." I thanked him and hung up. Part of me felt relief. But most of me felt cold. This wasn't justice yet. Not really. I didn't hear from Brenda for 4 days after that. Then she called me, screaming so loud I had to hold the phone away from my ear. "You got my daughter arrested, you son of a bitch. What kind of man does that to his own blood?" "She's not my blood anymore," I said flatly. "She made that clear. She's 17. You're ruining her life. She chose this. And you let her." She started crying, loud, fake, hiccuping sobs. "You don't know what it's like to be a mother. I've done everything for her. You taught her nothing. That's why she thinks she can lie, steal, and walk away like it's nothing. You're just bitter because you have no kids of your own. You don't get it." That cut deeper than I expected. I hung up on her. Later that night, I got a call from Donnie. "You sitting down?" he said. Always a great way to start a call. I pulled her tax info. Or should I say, the lack of it. Brenda hasn't filed anything in 3 years. Not federal. Not state. I whistled. She's cooked. Not just that. Her so-called coaching business. It's actually under Ashley's name. She put everything in the kid's name last year. Probably to dodge liability. I froze. You mean the PayPal account, the Venmo, all of it? Yep. Ashley's name, Ashley's social, Ashley's phone number. So Brenda set her own daughter up to take the fall for her scams. Suddenly, everything made sense. Ashley hadn't just gone bad overnight, she'd been groomed into it. Taught by example. Told it was fine to lie, steal, and manipulate if you smiled while doing it. But that also gave me an opening. I called the detective again. Gave him what Donnie found. He confirmed with the Financial Crimes Division, Ashley's name was all over the money trail. But she was a minor, and Brenda was the legal guardian. That meant Brenda could be pulled in under suspicion of fraud, identity theft, and tax evasion. The investigation was expanding. But that wasn't the twist that changed everything. The real twist came a week later when Ashley herself called me. From jail. She sounded different. Quiet. Scared. "Uncle Danny," she said, voice barely above a whisper. "I'm sorry. I didn't say anything. She made me do it," she said. "My mom. She told me to take the cards. She said you'd never notice. She promised me it was just temporary. Then when I got caught, she told me to lie. Said if I didn't, she'd tell the cops I attacked her. That hit me like a punch to the chest." "She put the business in your name too," I said. "You know that?" She started crying. But this time, it didn't feel fake. I didn't know. Not until the cops showed me the papers. She told me I was just helping her. I didn't know she never paid taxes. I sat there in silence for a long time. This wasn't just about revenge anymore. It was about exposing the whole rotten mess. Ashley agreed to cooperate with the police. She gave them everything: texts, voice messages, emails. All of it showed Brenda pulling the strings. Threatening. Manipulating. Even bragging in one voicemail that she'd found a way to get around taxes for life. The DA offered Ashley a deal: if she testified against Brenda and entered a juvenile rehabilitation program, her charges would be dropped down to community service and probation. She took the deal. I drove to Cleveland for her court appearance. She looked like a different person, no makeup, wearing a gray sweatshirt, hair tied back. When she saw me, she looked down at the floor. She testified against her mother for nearly 2 hours. Brenda, of course, tried to flip it all. Said Ashley was lying, said I planted evidence. Even told the judge I was a bitter old man with a savior complex. The judge didn't buy it. When the verdict came in, I was there. Brenda was found guilty on multiple counts of tax fraud, child endangerment, and coercion of a minor into criminal activity. They slapped her with 2 years in prison, plus 5 years probation. She also owed over $40,000 in back taxes and penalties. She screamed in court. Threw a pen at her lawyer. They had to drag her out in cuffs. And Ashley? She finished her probation. Got her GED. Got a job at a local animal shelter. She asked if she could see me. I agreed. We sat on a bench outside the shelter. She handed me an envelope. Inside was $400, cash. Said it was her first few paychecks. I know it's not even close, she said, tearing up. But I want to start. I didn't take the money. Instead, I handed her back the photo I took of her the night she picked up that DoorDash bag. Keep this, I told her. To remember what you came back from. She hugged me. I didn't hug back right away. But after a second, I did. Brenda still writes me letters from prison. Most of them are threats. Some are manipulative rants about how I destroyed our family. I keep them in a shoebox. Sometimes I read them when I need a reminder. Revenge isn't always fire and fury. Sometimes, it's a slow, quiet reckoning. A mirror held up to someone who spent their life lying, stealing, and blaming everyone else. And when the mirror finally cracks, you just watch. And you walk away.